So this market cycle model is an on-chain model. It's based on analysis of all the on-chain transactions of Bitcoin. There was no yellow, no distribution phase, end of the bull market phase and going to the bear market phase. There was no yellow in March. There was red, bull. So I knew that although it's a very weird, long, flat bull market, that the bull would continue. And in my opinion, from now on, we'll see new all-time highs. So that would be 110K and higher, followed by more monthly close all-time highs. Usually those all-time highs, they're not alone. They come in groups.
Bitcoin's market cycles have always followed a familiar rhythm, until now. The on-chain market cycle model, a revolutionary approach that analyzes every transaction on the blockchain, is reshaping how we understand Bitcoin's movements. Unlike hype-driven predictions or traditional technical charts, this model relies purely on raw blockchain data, and in March, it revealed something extraordinary. The usual distribution phase, which typically signals the end of a bull run, never showed up. Instead, the data flashed red, a clear sign the rally was far from over. PlanB, the creator of the stock-to-flow model, recognized this anomaly as a signal, not of a top, but of continuation. Despite the market's sideways grind, the data indicated Bitcoin wasn't finished, it was merely gathering strength. Now, all signs point toward a new leg up, with $110,000 as just the beginning. Historical patterns suggest that Bitcoin's peaks rarely occur in isolation. When momentum builds, monthly closes tend to climb higher in succession, pushing price discovery into uncharted territory. With Bitcoin's scarcity tightening and institutional adoption accelerating, this could be the most explosive phase yet. The blockchain doesn't lie, and it's now screaming that the next surge is imminent. If history rhymes, what comes next won't be a slow climb, it will be a cascade of higher highs. Buckle up.
Stop. You don't have time. Don't miss out this 2025 bull run. Educate yourself first ahead of the crowd. We have created the ultimate step-by-step crypto cheat guide that will guide you this bull run. Unlock the secrets of crypto and make smarter investments today. Now by clicking on the link below to get your exclusive copy just under $10.
So Bitcoin had a V-shaped recovery after all. Bitcoin jumped from 82K end of March to 94K end of April. And now, as we speak, it's at 104K. So this V-shaped recovery is a bull market sign. And okay, we're still far off from the stock-to-flow 500K average for the 2024-2028 halving cycle. It's an average, right? We're still far away from that. But we're only 1 year in. Only 1 year into the cycle and 3 years to go. Fundamentals are very good. Bitcoin is 2 times as scarce as gold, but gold is 10 times more worth than Bitcoin. So Bitcoin remains super undervalued, in my opinion. So many called the bear market when Bitcoin was 82K the end of March. But I remained bullish. Why is that? Mainly because of this chart, the market cycle chart. Now, if we look at RSI, the relative strength index, currently it's at 66. And that's around the average RSI level of 65, the dark area here, the black area. And it has been around that average for more than a year now. In my opinion, how I read this chart is that Bitcoin spent a couple of years below that average of 65. And from now on, it will stay 1 or more years above the 65 average. In fact, I think we will see 80 plus RSI months again, at least 4 of them, just like in the bull markets in 2021, in 2017 and in 2013. So I think we'll see those high RSI numbers again, at least 4 times. And those high RSI numbers are associated, of course, with high monthly returns of over 40% per month. So if we have, from the current level of, well, on average 100K. 4 months of 40%, that would bring us already in the 400K area, which is not inconsistent with the stock to flow model.
Bitcoin just executed a textbook V-shaped recovery, proving the bears wrong after many declared a top at $82,000 in March. In just 2 months, it surged to $94,000 and is now trading around $114,000, clear signs of a strong bull market. Yet, even with this explosive move, we're still far from PlanB's stock-to-flow model prediction of a $500,000 average price for the 2024-2028 halving cycle. The catch? We're only 1 year into the cycle, with 3 more to go. The panic at $82,000 came from a lack of perspective. Those ignoring the Onchain market cycle chart missed that there was no distribution phase, no bear market, just a coiled spring preparing to launch. Now, with $110,000 as the next key milestone, history suggests this is only the beginning. Peaks in Bitcoin's price don't appear in isolation, they come in clusters, with each monthly close building on the last. Even the RSI, now at 66, reinforces a bullish outlook. After years under the 65 threshold, Bitcoin is poised to remain in overbought territory for over a year, just like in previous bull runs. In 2013, 2017, and 2021, RSI readings above 80 were common, each followed by monthly gains exceeding 40%. If that pattern repeats, 4 months of 40% growth from today's $100,000 level could catapult Bitcoin to $400,000, bringing the $500,000 stock-to-flow target well within reach. The bottom line? This bull market is just getting started. Volatility will come, but so will life-changing gains. While PlanB's on-chain metrics highlight Bitcoin's explosive upside, analyst Willy believes the real revolution goes beyond price. To him, Bitcoin isn't just setting new highs, it's reshaping the global financial system itself. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
We're in the final phase of this bull run. Let me guide you. We've launched DailyDoseCrypto Alpha, a free private Telegram group just for the DailyDoseCrypto family. Inside, I'll guide you through profit-taking strategies, real trading tactics, long-term crypto investing mindset. Only 500 spaces available, then it's closed. If you're serious about this bull run, click the private link to join now.
I would also say most people have exposure without even knowing it because they own the S&P 500, which includes Tesla, which owns Bitcoin, and more of that's going to happen. Like, they don't even know they're a citizen of country and the country owns Bitcoin. You know, that's just everywhere. Even if they haven't bought it themselves, it's there because it's a part of every portfolio that they have. I mean, it's really interesting and good to see the spot ETF come in and companies like MicroStrategy come in and buy it spot, right? They're buying spot, the underlying asset, instead of buying exposure to the futures market. And so we have had a spot-driven bull market, and that's usually a pretty safe place to be. I think my friend Samson Mao is always talking about the God candle, and of course he's always talking about nation states. He's talking to nation states, so he's super bullish. And maybe he's right. I would just say, because I'm more of a quant guy, you just have to work out how much capital needs to be put into the network to push it up. Okay. And so, is it 1.6 trillion today? It's getting on a multi-trillion-dollar asset. It trades like macro. If we want to push up, we want to double if we want to go 1.5 trillion to $3 trillion, so doubling the price, that's a significant amount of capital that needs to go into the network. It's not like Chamath and his buddies buy Bitcoin at $3 and goes wee all the way up to $1,200 anymore. It's got to soak up decent nation state money, and you might get a doubling or a tripling and so forth. It's going to take time. So I'm with you on that sort of steady, like the picture you painted with Amazon stock with dip opportunities. It's going to be like that. It's not going to be this reflexive boom up like this exponential curve that you saw in 2017. Yeah, it's different nowadays. That's how I see it. How underlying structure-wise, that's how I see it. And also, we're very highly correlated to macro. We're just another macro asset. Bitcoin is just another macro asset these days. I don't disagree that the floodgates are opening, but it's not a floodgate of fast-moving dam water, right? It's floodgates of a slow-moving glacier, right? It's like it takes time, right? Do you know it's taken 4 years for MicroStrategy to actually gear up and really buy Bitcoin? 4 years,
What do
right?
you mean by that? What do
Like
you mean
you,
by that?
you look at their balance sheet, how much Bitcoin did they really stack? It's all been the last year. The
Oh, I see.
the
Yeah.
the right first thing he's got to do is like he's got to convince the board. That was before they even bought their first Bitcoin, right? And then they needed to inform their shareholders and provide a way in which the shareholders that were against it that they can sell their shares. By the way, this is because Michael Saylor owns by far the vast majority of MicroStrategy's stock. It's a little bit like Musk, where he controls so much of the company, what he says he can leverage. Even that took 4 years for them to really gear up and buy Bitcoin. If you look at the US government's strategic reserve, probably take 18 months. 6 months if miracles happen. Like it take 18 months. And you look at a publicly traded company that is not like Elon Musk or Michael Saylor, where there's a founder with massive control. The board can't buy. They can buy a little bit, like a little test, fraction of a percentage point that won't change the day-to-day operations of the company. Do a bit of this. Eventually, they have to take it to a full vote of all shareholders, and even then, there's this massive stuff you have to do to get the company in line where they can start to bring it on board. That it takes years, as MicroStrategy has shown you. So when you think about a nation state adopting it, it's going to take time, right? Like we talked about institutions, the company, the spot ETFs come in, and they thought they were going to pile in. No, like it'll take 6 months to years before the operational due diligence of these very large institutions, mutual funds, have completed the full due diligence of all the underlying custody and how the ETF works and so forth. It takes time before. And so when was the ETF? It's, when did it launch? How many months into it are we? 18
No, it was
months or?
January last year. It was January last year. Yeah.
Yeah,
January
so
11th
not
or
even
12th.
18 months into it, right? And this
Mhm.
is around the time where some of the institutions can come in, right? And so
Yeah.
it's just all these taps turning on, but it's going to take a while for it to get the flow up. Like I'm going to ask you today, how much do you think is being put into the Bitcoin network?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it.
$482 billion in the last 16 years. And how much has MicroStrategy put in the ETFs? Big chunk of that.
35.
If you have a nation state buying it and you enter a bear market, the politicians that instigate it ain't going to be too popular until the next bull market. There are like a lot of and if the nation state, there's political dynamics that are happening, and there's bull market cycles happening there too. I think UAE was thinking of adding a sovereign wealth fund back in 2019. That was definitely the case, and they already said it's going to take a year of figuring out how to do it. And yeah, like this takes time, and then when they turn it on, they test it with little trickles, and then
Yeah.
and so $842 billion, people. That's how much been put into the network. Even though the market cap's doubled that, so we've got a 2-to-1 ratio. So if we want another trillion growth to 2.5, $2.5 trillion dollars, we got to find another 500 billion. These 842 billion that's been put in. These are the numbers, okay? These are
It's not
the
hard. What I'm
ballpark
saying,
numbers.
that's pretty easy when you consider that MicroStrategy alone has got like 35 billion. Their cost basis is, I think, 35 billion for what
Yeah,
they.
so we just need another, I don't know, 13, 14 more MicroStrategies, and whoop, we're going to get our $1 trillion, which is going to push price up 66%. These are the
So
numbers, right? We're not going to
yeah.
get 10x in the next 3 months, right? We're not going to get $150 to $20,000 in 1 year. It's a big moving ship, and people don't grapple. That's the type of capital. We're talking large $1 trillion assets.
You might not even realize it, but there's a good chance you already own Bitcoin, not because you bought it directly, but because it's quietly woven into your investment portfolio, your country's reserves, and even the companies you deal with daily. Welcome to Bitcoin's new era. No longer just a rebellious fringe asset, Bitcoin has grown into a $1.6 trillion financial force that's gradually reshaping global markets. This shift isn't driven by wild speculation or overnight hype. Instead, Bitcoin is steadily being embraced by institutional investors, corporate treasuries, and national economic strategies. The revolution isn't coming, it's already happening, moving at the deliberate pace of big money. Look at the S&P 500, where companies like Tesla and MicroStrategy hold billions in Bitcoin. If you own index funds, retirement accounts, or some government bonds, you probably have indirect exposure to. Nation-states are joining in, from El Salvador's bold legal tender move to the U.S. government's substantial stash of seized Bitcoin. The launch of spot Bitcoin ETFs in January 2023 marked a turning point, though not with explosive immediate gains. Instead, institutions have been methodically navigating compliance and risk, steadily building positions. When billions are involved, capital doesn't sprint, it marches. MicroStrategy's 4-year transformation from software firm to Bitcoin powerhouse offers a glimpse of what lies ahead for many Fortune 500 companies. Meanwhile, cautious but impactful moves by nation-states signal a future where Bitcoin is an integral part of global finance. This slow but sure adoption matters deeply. Doubling Bitcoin's current $1.6 trillion market cap means attracting another $1.6 trillion in inflows, mostly from institutions. Spot ETFs might bring $100 billion annually, corporations $50 billion, and nation-states hundreds of billions over time. This isn't fantasy. It's the predictable flow into an asset with fixed supply and growing recognition. Going forward, Bitcoin's price growth is expected to be steadier, 100 to 200% gains per cycle rather than wild 1,000% spikes, marked by dips and consolidations as large buyers accumulate and volatility lessens. The true shift will come as ETFs scale up, more corporations follow MicroStrategy's lead, and major economies officially add Bitcoin to reserve. This signals Bitcoin's full integration into the global financial system. The next chapter won't be shaped by hype, but by boardrooms and central banks. The revolution is mainstream now, and the question isn't whether you should join, it's whether you realize how much you already have. Are you ready for what's next? So, as we wrap up, how high do you think Bitcoin will go in 2025? Share your thoughts in the comments below. For more Daily Dose Crypto news, check out these 2 awesome videos on your screen. Click now and we will see you on the next video.